Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your powerful and precise direct force pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers? All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Last week we were at the place that I call home, that I call heaven on earth, Summit Point Raceway. But tonight I'm going to have to pay deference to Paul Newman, a multi of the Ray Esports Racing League's winter season, brought to you by Grassroots Motorsports Magazine, Spec Racer Sports, Common Gear, and Grass Paddock Motorsports here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Mushmouth Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth tonight for the very first time is Jack Ritchie, who just joined the Apex family. And we cannot forget the hardest working man in virtual racing, that's Lee Thompson. He's in the virtual production trailer giving you all the best views of tonight's action. And so for those of you that are joining us for the very first time, first, why did you wait 9 weeks to do it? This season we've had 4 classes, Spec Racer Ford, Spec Miata, and new for this season 2 touring classes featuring the Volkswagen TDI Cup cars as well as the Toyota GR86 Cup cars that you can see on the track right now. And with each class racing 6 times over the course of this 9-week season, we wrap things up tonight with 2 final 20-minute sprint races. With the Spec Racer Fords concluding their season last week, first up will be the touring cars, and that will be followed by Spec Miata, the Global MX-5 Cup cars, with their 6th and final bout. So good evening, Jack, and welcome to VIR and the Ray Esports Racing League and Apex Racing TV. It's great to have you on board.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I've came to the series a little late, I think, in the last week, but I'm looking forward to seeing some wild action tonight. VIR is a crazy fun track, so I'm looking forward to see how these guys attack it.
Yeah, definitely. VIR, it is a very challenging track. It's got great flow when you get it right, but there are so many places here. If you just set a wheel wrong, you can go seemingly for, not for miles, but hundreds of feet through the expansive grass here at this wonderful facility. But let's do this, Jack. Why don't we turn things over, as we've done each and every week this season, to Morgan Burkhardt from Delta Sport Racing. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of Virginia International Raceway.
And tricky corners. Hello everyone, my name is Morgan Burkhardt for Delta Sport US, and welcome to the 3.25 mile long Virginia International Raceway, where 20 corners are draped over the beautiful southern Virginia landscape. Coming down the not so straight front straight into turn 1, gonna try and look for the 2. It's a very long hairpin, so you're gonna keep it kind of late apex and then keep it towards the inside on the exit, make a short run into NASCAR, which is a difficult corner as the entry kind of compromises the line you have to take. You don't want to use all of the track on the entrance, but nail the curb on the inside, hopping over this curb, using all the track on the outside, entering the snake, gonna nail the curb for rotation, and then kind of half track going into it, and really just like NASCAR, same kind of mentality there though as well. They're similar shaped corners, and most important corner on the track is Oak Tree, of course. So get the best run that you can coming onto this very, very long uphill back straight. Every mile an hour that you can get coming out of Oak Tree is 2-3 at the end of the straight. So coming into the roller coaster, difficult as it rises on entry, difficult to get the car slowed down, and then into the roller coaster. Going to keep it kind of tight and using the curbs as markers, and then coming down into hog pen, tricky corners, launching over the curbs on the entrance, looking for that dip on the turn 17. Really grabs the car in and rotates it. Short run out of the corner and a run down the not so straight front straight. It's a difficult track. It's a beautiful track, and if you get it right, it feels wonderful.
And thanks so much to Morgan Burkhardt for tonight's track guide of Virginia International Raceway. And while we were watching him in that pre-recorded lap, Morgan turned his fastest lap of qualifying as well. He's now your fastest of the Jetta. Is now about 2/3 of the way complete. Let's quickly look back to 2 weeks ago, which was the last time the Jettas and the Toyotas ran here in the Ray Esports Racing League, and that was at beautiful Watkins Glen International, where in the Volkswagen Jettas, Morgan Burkhardt took the win. It was his 5th win out of 5 races. Matthew Snow finished 2nd, almost 9 seconds back from Burkhardt. Beans Forster finished on the 3rd step of the podium. He came in 3rd with Skip Rock Jr., again, currently our 2nd fastest driver in the class, finishing 4th, and Trenton Kramer finishing 5th. And if you take a look at the point standings, there they are. Morgan Burkhardt, 5 wins out of 5 races with now, and actually I think we're showing possibly the points from 2 weeks ago. I'll give you the updated points here. It's 113 points for Morgan Burkhardt. Beans Forster with 95 points. That's 18 points back from our leader, Michael Snow, currently running 3rd in the championship with 64 points. So almost, he's 49 points off the lead, with Trenton Kramer 2 points back from there. But looks like we've got the order correct. We've just we'll work on the points for you here as we go to our runoffs next week. And if we take a look at the GR86s at the Toyotas, Juan Soto took the win 2 weeks ago with Deacon Greenfield and Caleb Pocock coming 2nd and 3rd, and that was the first race of the season where Caleb Patry did not take the win there, as Patry, who started on the outside of the front row, and Giancarlo, as you can see, he's got a pretty good command on the rest of the field right now, as we're on board with Andrew Wozencroft, who's currently 5th here in qualifying.
Yeah, I think Caleb tonight just really wants a clean race, you know, to finish off the championship and move on to the runoffs next week. I mean, really, what else can he do? He's won almost every race this season, and he's really fast tonight. So hopefully he can get this pole position, and he's probably hoping he can just check out from the rest of the field.
And he's done that. He's done that often. Actually, funny little story that I don't think ever made it to air. But when we had the very first race of the season for these Toyota GR86 Cup cars, and for the Volkswagen TDI Cup, it was at the Mid Ohio Sports Car Course, and we went to grab him for a post-race interview. And he said, I didn't really do anything. I was driving by myself all night, going off. And although in the overall scheme of qualifying right now, Jack, we can see that there are some, there's actually the Toyota of Andrew Wozencroft, who we were watching just a few moments ago, between Burkhardt and Brock. When we go racing, we should, assuming the admin set things up correctly, we should have all the Toyotas gridded up together, all the Jettas gridded up together, so that split there with the Toyotas in between should not be a factor during the race. All right, and so we now are getting to, speaking of the starting grid, we're getting towards the end of qualifying session here as we're watching now Deacon Greenfield. We're getting towards the end of qualifying session here as we're watching now Deacon Greenfield, currently 4th fastest in the Toyotas, trying to improve upon a 207.91, a time that he's only a couple of thousandths of a second off of Nagase Yoshikawa right now, who is running 3rd, but Greenfield definitely hoping to improve upon the 207.85, only 0.04 of a second that he needs to pick up, that he could put that number 36 machine not on row number 2 but on row number 1. But it looks like Greenfield, he's calling off that last flying lap, Jack.
Yeah, Brown really just didn't really need a lot of time to get on that front row, and it doesn't seem like he's going to get it tonight. But in a race like this, you know, you got 20 minutes. I don't really think that matters too much. I think you just need to get a good jump, and he'll probably be okay.
All right, and we're watching Jacob Schilling right now, who is qualified 8th fastest in the Jettas as he comes out of what I like to now call Oak Treeless. Turn number 11 at Virginia International Raceway, a very different turn now that the iconic oak tree, whether it be in iRacing or whether it be in real life, it's been gone in real life now for about 7 years. That iconic oak tree is really opened up and given you much more vision through a corner. But Jacob Schilling on what should be a valid lap for him. We'll see if he can go and improve upon his times. He's trying to improve upon it, that 210.87. Last time by, he was almost 5 seconds off that. Michael Snow is sitting 7th in qualifying right now at 210.53. That is what Schilling is trying to improve upon. And as Schilling crosses the line, only a 212 flat, 212.03. So it looks as though he is going to start 8th in the Jettas as we watch now Murphy Nichols as he was making his way down the roller coaster. And I told you here that you can go for a long way in the grass at VIR. There you go. As Murphy Nichols, by the way, Murphy Nichols, his 19th birthday tonight and today. So if you see Murphy, you're online with him, wish him a happy birthday. And Jack, it looks like that's going to be it for qualifying here, as although we still have one other driver on track, actually 2 drivers on track. We'll see this session resetting in just a moment, and should see our drivers gridding up as there's Megan Overstreet, and I believe this is just a cool down lap for her in the number 044 machine. You can catch Megan in another one of the Ray Esports leagues, in the Weekend Warriors Spec Racer Ford League, also the brand new, and I believe next week going to be the initial outing on Apex Racing TV for the brand new Weekend Warriors Formula 4. 8th tonight. Wayne Buttermore will start 9th in the number 73 machine, with Mark Sherman starting in 10th. And then we're going to wrap up the Toyotas with Kyle Robertson in the 215 car. He's going to start 11th. And Caleb Pocock, he's going to start 12th.
In the Jettas, we have Morgan Burkhart with a pole time of over a second faster than second Skip Brock Jr. We have in third Matthew Snow, and in fourth Andrew Benet. Fifth, we have Trenton Kramer, and sixth Benjamin Forrester. In row 4, we have Michael Snow and Jacob Schilling. And then rounding out, or nope, sorry, that's row 5. We have Megan Overstreet and Frank Schwartz. And rounding out the field, we have Joquan Infinger and Byron Prokoff.
There you go. So a nice size field here. 12 cars in the Toyota field, 12 cars in the Jetta field. And this is interesting, and I think I remember this from earlier this season, but with the newer scan of iRacing, when they do a pace lap, they don't start the pace lap on the front straight. They actually start the pace lap from the pit lane here, and they're going to be rolling off in just a moment. Diagnostic and repair processes is as important as the work itself. With the common gear, you can keep track of the steps you take, the parts and experts you use, all aspects of your car's history. Don't risk losing value. As I was telling you offline here when we were at commercial, is that Grass Paddock has a great offer going on. It's what they call their Sim to Track program, and here in calendar year 2023, they are going to be offering 2 drivers from the Jetta class arrive and drive packages, and basically they're going to be providing these to deserving racers in one of their rental fleet, one of their rental cars, and a driver who wishes to obtain a competition license, a seat in the other. That is going to be based, the criteria is based on not how you finish in each class and each season, but is going to be based more on how conscientious a driver you are, overall performance, and also an improvement. And a panel of 3 people will be deciding who wins those seats at the end of 2023. It's going to be Frank Schwartz, who is racing tonight in the number 24 machine. He is the owner of Grass Paddock Motorsports. It's going to be Steve Ray from Ray Esports Racing, and it's going to be yours truly. And I know I definitely look forward to making that monumentous decision at the end of the year. All right, so we've got the safety car now bringing the field up now to the top of the roller coaster, the Toyota field, and we are going to have all the racers are at full race pace waiting for that flag to come out. But we have the green flag in the air, and we are underway for the Toyotas, and the Jettas just now getting the green flag as well as we split out 3 wide going down into turn 1 with Patrick to the inside, Murphy Nichols to the outside, and it looks like we might have had one of the Toyotas. I think Deacon Greenfield goes off on the outside of turn 2 into the grass. He's going to have to rejoin now behind that entire Jetta field as Morgan Burkhardt leads Beans Forster, who's just now been passed by Skip Brock Jr. Through the NASCAR turn into turn 3, but looks like Patrick's got control of the Toyota field here early on.
Yeah, Patrick didn't really look like he got the jump that he quite wanted going into turn 1, but it seems that have sorted itself out a little bit as he's stretching it out on Nichols just a bit.
And that's Matthew Snow because, well, they're big giant boxes.
Yeah, I imagine being in the Jettas, it's got to be tough to have, you know, another car in your class that has such a similar speed, but you're not actually racing them. You know, getting through the traffic and all that has to be difficult, especially for Morgan, because, I mean, you know, he probably wants to extend that gap on Skip as much as he can, but you have to deal with kind of lap traffic, but not really in these in the Toyotas as well.
Yeah, so the challenge that you have when you have the interaction, as you can imagine, the diesel engines, there are a lot of torque, and so that they can dig out of smaller corners, and they do have a lot of straight line speed. The big challenge when you have them mixed together with the Toyotas is the Toyotas, well, that's a good view of that boxer engine. The Toyotas have much better ability to go through the corners. They can corner at much higher speeds, and a lot of that is because the Jettas, you know, they've just got a lot of weight over the nose. That's the disadvantage of having a front-wheel drive car that's turned into a race car.
Sure.
All right, so let's take a look here, Jack. We'll go back to lap 1 on the start. We saw Deacon Greenfield go off into the grass on the outside of turns 1 and 2 as he goes in almost 3 wide here, and you can see as the car just kind of drops off. And when you get out to the outside of turns 1 and 2, not a lot of grip there. And it actually, you can kind of see there when he returns. It
just saw on the replay right there. He did a really good job rejoining, and that grass, if you just put one tire in the grass, it's gonna, you know, just grab hold of you and it's gonna take you. There's really not much you can do about it except what those two have done in this race. So, good job by them.
Yeah, and that's an area of the track over at the area called Hog Pen. We have another driver that's gone off at. Well, I have a lot of drivers that are going off over between turns 2 and 3. That's Charles Vaccaro in the 221 machine, and we had one of our Jettas go off as well. I think it might have been possibly Brian Prokoff, but that area called Hog Pen, as you're coming down the hill, it drops again off camber. There's a compression right at the apex, and it's one of those corners where you really have to set up and get the car rotated around, otherwise you're going to do exactly the slowest corner on the track, but it is also probably the most critical corner on the track, as Morgan Burkhardt talked about in his track guide, because you have this very long straightaway, and if you compromise your exit speed, as we saw Yoshikawa and Brown side by side through the corner, well, it gives, you see there, Murphy Nichols able to open up almost an 8-car length lead.
Yeah, and I thought I heard a little bit of contact too when he made that pass, and Miles had the draft going down that long straightaway, so he was able to get him back in these crucial turns right here before, you know, the front stretch. And we'll see if Yoshikawa can get him back, but I'm not really sure if that was the place to pass him, and you might have made him a little mad this early in the race. I don't know if you want to do that with 15 minutes left, but, you know, to each their own.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, typically what you would see, Jack, is you'd see somebody like Yoshikawa, who thought maybe he had a little bit more pace, follow the car ahead out of the Oak Tree turn onto the back straight, and then use that draft to get by before the top of the roller coaster, before turn 14. As we're watching now Deacon Greenfield trying to make his recovery, turn number 4, and now into that turn 5 section in the stakes, still side by side, and Greenfield having to use all the curbing he can to get through turn 5. And I'll tell you, Jack, that looked like a lot of cooperation there by Charles Vaccaro. That I think he saw the Greenfield's move coming, and he kind of made a little room for the 36 car, because it could have ended up in tears over there. All drivers left. It was a very good recovery. But look, we'll talk about that more in a minute. But look at this, as Miles Brown is caught back up, and not only caught back up to Murphy Nichols, he is now taken over second place here in the GR86s in the T3 class, moving our outside pole sitter Murphy Nichols back into third now, as they come through turn 4 and into turn 5.
And this is an insane battle for P2 right here. Patrick's gone, and he is glad he's not a part of this battle. But the battle for second here is heating up.
That's right, and Yoshikawa right in the 2 as we now take a look at another fight here. Great little battle going on. This is for 6th in the Jettas. We've got Matt Snow. He is in the black number 78 machine. Andrew Benna in the orange 71, and they're in the Red Bull car. Doesn't have wings yet, which is probably a good thing. Matthew Snow in the green number 78. Great little fight going on, and this is one of the things that really, I think, over the years as I've watched these Jetta races, really exemplifies the TDI Cup racing. It was in real life. As a couple good friends of mine were actually in the real life series, and then here on the virtual platform, is that they're just so close, and they really promote very close, tight racing, as we're seeing here in the GR86s, as Murphy Nichols bringing the fight back to Miles Brown.
Yeah, and he took him right here and got right past him in these set of corners that are right before the start-finish line. You have to forgive me. I'm not very familiar with the VIR. I've only been here maybe a couple times in iRacing, and not too familiar. I know this is the front stretch right here, and he's going to have another opportunity to get some draft into turn 1. So it'll be interesting to see if Brown or Yoshikawa can catch back up. And we have a spin, Wayne Buttermore into the tires here.
Yeah, and that is in the roller coaster section, actually just where we were watching Murphy Nichols and Miles Brown and Yoshikawa going through, and he's off.
Buttermore was in the tires. I don't know. We'll have to see if there's a potential replay, but as the battle heats up again, Brown and Nichols are going back at it. This is a insane battle right now.
Yeah, and this is a place where you don't want to necessarily be side by side going through the uphill S's, and we saw Miles Brown take to the grass at the entry. Murphy Nichols on driver's right did the same thing. Nichols gets around Brown as they go through South Bend, down that compression, and back up towards turn 10 and the Oak Tree turn, which, as we've seen, as maybe the track was getting a little warmer, has been a little difficult for some drivers as they come over the crest of that hill and have to get on the brakes. But now Miles Brown trying to use the draft to get by the number 5 machine as they come down the very long back straight to the section that they call Madison Avenue, and we'll see who's the last of the late breakers coming into turn number 14, as we've got Murphy Nichols on driver's left, we've got Miles Brown on driver's right, and Nichols goes deep in the 14, but it looks like he manages to hold off Brown, and Yoshikawa's there waiting to take advantage of the spoils there, and Yoshikawa now moves up in the 3rd.
Yeah, Yoshikawa loved seeing that happening right there, and was able to take advantage of it and get into P3. These guys are battling really hard, but it's been really clean too, as we see Morgan Burkhardt going down to pit road.
Yeah, and Morgan Burkhardt leading the Jetta race by over 5 seconds. He's coming down the pit lane. I'm not sure what the story is there, but that may likely, and actually already has now, elevated Skip Brock Jr. up into the lead in the Jettas. He's running 6th overall, or probably he's running 6th overall, and Skip Brock Jr. now, your new leader, Ben Forster, running 2nd in class there in the Slim Jim car. Shout out to the Macho Man Randy Savage there on the side of the car, and Trenton Kramer running a distant 3rd right now in class. You can see there almost 10 seconds back in the 444 machine.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what happened with the leader right there pitting, but I mean, Skip Brock's got to be happy, right? He just got the lead handed to him, and it seems like he's got about a 4-second lead to the second, so this race might have just fell in his lap.
Yeah, indeed, and Burkhardt brush of the brake through that high-speed left-hander called South Bend. The Jettas, it is a much stronger braking moment here.
Yeah, and it looks like Snow's trying to do anything he can to get past him. We saw him get a little loose when we rode on board with him there. I don't know if he maybe clipped the grass or what, but he had some oversteer and corrected it and kept going. But those two are battling really hard for P5 and the Jettas, and I don't blame them. I would too. I mean, you got to get every spot you can get.
All right, so we saw Justice have some issues and have that long off track at Hog Pen early on in the race. He's coming back to the scene of the crime right now as he comes down the roller coaster and does a little bit better that time around. He is currently running 7th with Deacon Greenfield now, just a couple car lengths behind. And that last time by Justice was almost a second and a half off of Greenfield's pace. So, you know, with less than 5 minutes to go, probably 2 more laps remaining, maybe 3. Greenfield trying to pick up as many positions and gather as many points as he can here to the end of the season. And, you know, again, coming into the evening, Greenfield was running 6th in the championship, but only 2 points back from Andrew Wozencroft, who I think now is sitting just behind Greenfield in the order.
Yeah, as we come back to the battle again, these guys just cannot get away from each other. Patry has to be so happy that he has a 12-second lead, because there's no way he would want to be a part of this.
Well, we'll have to find out if he wants to have that interview again. But you know, look, we saw Burkhardt pull off early. You know, that whole don't count your chickens thing for Patry. You never know here. But this has been a great battle between Brown, Nichols, and Yoshikawa. As Brown is back up into 2nd position. He started 4th tonight, so on the outside of row number 2, and he's now finding himself 2nd. But Murphy Nichols, once again, going to try and outbreak the 333 going into the roller coaster, and once again he gets it done.
Yeah, it seems like that's a really big passing point for these guys. I mean, the whole race, that's where they've been battling back and forth, and then they get on the front stretch and they swap it right back, and then they get right back to the back stretch and swap it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a neat thing about VIR with these 2 very long straightaways tied together with these sections that really have great flow, but you really have to, you know, you have to pick your times, you have to pick your battles, and there are so many places where you're just so tempted to make a pass, but if you do, it can hurt you just a couple corners later. As we now see the 078 of Matt Snow, he's been waiting for a number of laps. I think probably we've been watching for about 5 to make the pass on Benna. But Benna side by side with him going down the roller coaster right now. We'll see if that changes position again as Greenfield now gets around the 99 of Justice. So move Greenfield. Well, for the moment, we're not done yet as Justice with the over-under, but Greenfield's going to have position going into NASCAR and into turn 3.
Yeah, it looked like Greenfield slipped a little bit, and Justice was going to try to cross him back over and get him, but not quite sure if he's going to be able to do it. As we saw earlier, Greenfield was about a second and a half faster per lap, and Justice just ran his fastest lap last lap, though, at a 2:09.4. So yeah, he's definitely figuring it out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And Wozencroft in the number 80 machine, that white number 80 machine, was trailing right behind the 2 as well. He's made up a lot of ground as well. A great little fight there as it is still going on. Also, we just noticed that Andrew Bennett got back around Matthew Snow, and that's the battle for 5th in the Jettas. But yeah, we watch this their train, and they're all coming up. They're all right behind Beans Forster, and you know, here's going to be a great opportunity. We'll see if Forster is going to let them go around the inside, or if he's actually just trying to be a little defensive with this battle coming up. But you know, this is a great opportunity to see how Forster, who's very, very quick usually in these Jettas, how there is, I think, the other car in that battle, as we were watching Caleb Pocock in the 88 machine. So what was a 3-car battle for 7th position is now a 4-car battle for 6th, and you can thank Beans Forster for that. As we jump back, well, we just had that battle for the lead, and Forster still finding himself right in the middle of this battle as we are now actually working the very last lap. We're coming up on that 20-minute mark, and so Caleb Patry, we'll have to check in and see where our leader is in just a few moments here.
Oh, there's a spin.
And that is Caleb Pocock in the 88 machine going around as he was right in that fight. That is now going to really put the battle between Wozencroft and Greenfield. And again, that is the battle for 6th in the Toyotas.
Yeah, and I think I want to say, it's close to the ending, but not quite. But I don't think we had a single incident. Oh, no, as we have the...
That's what they call the announcer's curse. All right, let's take a look here. We had a number of drivers coming up, and Justice was part of that group before as well as they came into the roller coaster. And it looks like he did a little bit of trail braking there. Rear end of the car comes around, and yeah, again, what was a 4-car fight is now a 2-car fight as we jump over here, Jack, to Caleb Patry. Not getting a lot of airtime tonight, but that might be a good thing as he comes down the roller coaster now through the last couple of corners. We caught him on lap 1. We're going to catch him on lap number 10 as well as he comes down through Hog Pen onto the front straight. And Caleb Patry is going to take his 5th win of the season here in the Toyota GR86s. And as he crosses the line, he goes for the ski jump there off in the grass. And we're going to jump back to this fight that we've been watching here for 2nd with Murphy Nichols, Miles Brown, and Nagase Yoshikawa. And as they come to the line, birthday boy Murphy Nichols is going to come home in 2nd with Miles Brown 3rd, Yoshikawa finishing just off the podium. And we're going to then have Kyle Robertson in 2:15. He's going to finish in 5th position. But here's that battle for 6th now between Deacon Greenfield and Andrew Wozencroft. And as they come to the line, side by side, who is it? It is Andrew Wozencroft by 5/1,000ths of a second. Wow. Wow. Actually, 4/1,000ths of a second between Wozencroft, who comes in 6th, and Greenfield, who comes in 7th. In the Jettas, Skip Brock Jr., Matt Snow will round out the top 5. All right, so let's take a look here. And Jack, tell you what, we're going to start off with Skip Brock Jr. Skip driving the number 68 machine. He is your winner tonight in the Jetta TDI Cup cars.
Skip, how you doing, buddy? You got you a Jetta win tonight. How do you feel?
I guess I feel pretty good. I didn't really do a whole lot to earn it, but it's pretty much the most boring race I've had, but I can't really complain too much. I mean, a win's a win.
Yeah, it's better to be lucky than good, right? I mean, the leader just peels off on the pit road, and then you inherit the lead. What happened?
He says he took a gallon of fuel out for the qualifying session, and forgot to put it back in. So I told him that's how he was pulling like a second a lap on me, is that extra like 8 pounds he had on me. That's definitely what did it.
Yeah, but I mean, you were still there. I mean, you were 2nd, so it doesn't really matter in racing. Anything can happen to the leader at any time. So great job tonight. Do you have any sponsors that you'd like to thank?
Sponsors, I guess Real Life, my racing team, Real Life, OPM Autosports, run by Tom Fowler. Great team. And we'll be going to VIR actually in like a couple weeks, I think.
So let's do this. Let's bring in Murphy Nichols, birthday boy Murphy Nichols, finishing 2nd tonight in the Toyota GR86 Cup cars.
Murphy, that battle that you guys had for P2 tonight was insanity. Take me through what you were thinking that whole race. The whole 20 minutes you guys battled.
Yeah, it was... can you all hear me?
Barely.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll yell so y'all can hear me a little bit better. Yeah, it was a fun battle to say the least. The original goal was try and stay with Caleb, and then I learned fairly quick. I was like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. And then Miles and Nagisa sort of joined the party, so I was like, all right, maybe I can have a nice little scrap for 2nd. And then just kind of went from there. I was trying to play moves strategically. I knew that Miles had a bit more straight line than I did, but I had a bit better corner speed than he did. So I was trying to use that advantage the best I could. Like I had the move going up through the S's, which I'm surprised actually worked. And then I knew I was a lot more confident on the brakes going in a roller coaster. So I knew if I could get enough of a run on him in the closing laps, especially on the last lap, if I could stay ahead of roller coaster, then I was going to finish out in front of him. But I knew that we kind of traded positions, and I was just
racing, and it was clean and respectful, and that was awesome. So, good job tonight on the P2. Is there anybody that you would like to thank?
Big shout out to you guys. Big shout out to Miles and Nagisa for making it an awesome fight. Shout out to my parents and just everybody to help make my racing dream a reality. Thank you guys.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you next week at the runoffs, I hope, and hope you had a great season.
Thank you. I'll see you guys then.
All right, there you go. That was Murphy Nichols, birthday boy Murphy Nichols, your second place finisher tonight in the GR86 Cup cars. And so, Jack.
Subscription, you will have Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world. Many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ginsburg, along with Jack Ritchie, and can want to welcome Jack to the broadcast here. His first week here at Apex Racing TV. I think he's doing a great job, Jack.
Oh, thanks. I think I'm doing okay. You know?
Don't let anybody tell you differently.
Yeah, right. You know, it's all new to me and all that, but I mean, it's settling in pretty good. We got some good racing too, so that makes it a lot easier when we have that going on.
Definitely. Well, this will make things, I think, a little bit easier for us because rather than having to juggle two different races as we did just a little while ago, now just one class. It's the what I like to call Spec Miata, or the Global MX-5 Cup cars. out on track here. So just one big race to watch, but to watch these drivers toss these machines around Virginia International Raceway is definitely something to behold. And again, since we're having a whole bunch of spec races here, again, when we go racing, we're going to see the effects of the draft, and we're going to see the effects of cars that are prepared. I want to say that they're prepared identically, but these drivers do have the ability to go and set their alignments and set the suspension settings differently. As we saw with Morgan Burkhardt, he had the ability to underfill his car by a gallon or two, and so the weights on the cars can be different. Of course, the driving styles are very different as well. As we're on board right now with Megan Overstreet, who is working her 4th flying lap. She is currently qualified 10th. And quickly here, Jack, as we have only about 2 minutes remaining in qualifying, let's quickly take a look at where things ended up first in Spec Racer Ford, as they had their very last race of the season last week at Summit Point Raceway, and Morgan Burkhardt took the win in the Spec Racer Fords. He's actually going to be racing in a real-life Spec Racer Ford at Summit Point Raceway this week. Giancarlo Schooler came home in second. Nagase Yoshikawa finished on the last step of the podium, and Antonio Rice, who was our pole sitter for that race, actually finished all the way back in 10th position. And so at the end of the season number 8 in the Spec Racer Fords, Morgan Burkhardt comes away with the championship, 152 points to his name. Beans Forster with 103. Hey, that one's right. And then Megan Overstreet, 3rd in the championship with 91 points. Andrew Wozencroft, 10 points back from there. And then Josh Justice, another 12 points back from there. So congratulations to Morgan Burkhardt, who takes the championship in Spec Racer Ford. And in the Spec Miatas, let's take a look. Giancarlo Schooler was your winner last week, with Beans Forster finishing 2nd. Morgan Burkhardt managed 3rd in the MX-5s, with Nagase Yoshikawa finishing 4th, and Antonio Rice finishing in 5th position. And if we take a look at the point standings now, and this is also correct, coming into our final race of the season, Giancarlo Schooler currently your points leader at 115, and he has Giancarlo Schooler has 2 wins on the season. Morgan Burkhardt, who's sitting there 6 points back, has 3 wins on the season. Beans Forster, who was our Season 7 champion, currently sitting 3rd in the championship, a pretty distant 19 points back from Burkhardt. And then, as you can see there, Wozencroft and Greenfield rounding out your top 5, considerably further back. But the battle tonight, Jack, definitely between Giancarlo Schooler and Morgan Burkhardt for that Season 8, for that winter season championship.
Yeah, and Morgan right now is qualified in the 5th position so far, so I mean that's a really good start to the night. I'm not really sure where Schooler's at on the grid, but
let's take a look and see if we can see him. So Giancarlo Schooler wasn't here for our first race. He typically had been racing in the 3. Right now, your provisional pole sitter is Josh Soto, and that little bobble might be enough to dash the hopes of Morgan Burkhardt moving up. And that wasn't actually Lockshine ahead, I believe. Well, we'll get that number. We'll get the number there on the other car in just the moment here. But it looks like Burkhardt's going to end up calling off this last flying lap. And that is the number 12 machine, Rich Green, in the orange and black machine. Qualified 19th, and so we have a number of drivers also, including myself, apparently. Wow.
Oh my!
Well,
sorry to interrupt you. Jesus.
Yeah,
what a lap.
I was going to say that I thought Morgan Burkhardt was going to be calling off that lap. Look at that, a 2:07.75 to leapfrog Josh Soto in the 07 machine, and that just came out of nowhere because. I'll tell you, Jack, as we were watching Burkhardt going up into roller coaster and following the number 12 machine of Green down the roller coaster, I thought that lap was going to be a throwaway.
Yeah, and if you saw his car too, he had a little bit of damage on the side. So I mean, you would think that would affect the aero a little bit too. But
that did not set qualifying times, apparently, including me. As unfortunately, I guess I went into the session incorrectly. But let's run down the starting grid. Jack, off to you.
We have on the pole, we got Morgan Burkhart, and then second, Joshua Soto. In row 2, we have Caleb Patry, who, as you guys saw earlier, dominated the Toyota race and got himself a W, so we'll see if he can do that again. And fourth, we got Nagasiya Yoshikawa, who was also racing really hard in that last race. In row 3, we got Louis Lockshine and Ben Forrester. Row 4, we got Andrew Wozencroft and Skip Brock Jr., who also won in the last event. In row 5, we got Murphy Nichols and John Wilson. And then row 6, we got Bradford Gold and Joshua Justice.
All right, starting 13th tonight is going to be Michael Snow in the 077 machine. Megan Overstreet in that purple 044. She's going to start 14th with Charles Vaccaro and Wayne Buttermore. And Jack, the more you do the series, you'll find that where there is Charles Vaccaro, there is always a Wayne Buttermore and a Joaquin Effinger. Those three drivers are always together on track, with Vaccaro starting 15th, Buttermore starting 16th, Joaquin Effinger starting on the inside of row number 9 in 17th position. Caleb Pocock will start 18th, and then we've got Rich Green and Matthew Snow starting 19th and 20th. Deacon Greenfield and Trenton Kramer did not put in times, so they're going to be starting at the back of the pack, and I can guarantee you that Greg Ginsburg, well, he's behind the mic. He's not racing tonight. He will not be on the grid. Andrew Benna, I believe, after his race in the first race there in the Jettas, he's going to be one of our live stewards for this second race. So he will be watching the action from the control tower, as Mark Sherman also does not join the action. So we are getting ready to roll off here for the pace lap here at 17 turn 3.27 mile. That's 7/10 of a mile. Very, very important. 3.27 mile Virginia International Raceway. And let's talk about our sponsor for tonight's second race, and that is Grassroots Motorsports Magazine. Built for the true sports car enthusiast, Grassroots Motorsports has one mission, and that is to be your personal guide to the sports car world. Whether it's online at grassrootsmotorsports.com, in print, or in person, the racers and builders, the car nerds at Grassroots Motorsports take you behind the scenes and show you how to make your car better. Along the way, they'll give you a taste of everything this hobby has to offer, from 1,000 horsepower track monsters to cool street cars built in driveways. They also maintain a collection of staff-built project cars, because hands-on technical articles, they're not typed behind a desk, they're scribbled down in the garage. To not only read but become part of the story, head on over to grassrootsmotorsports.com. All right, so Jack, here we go. We see now, I think, a much faster pace from that Porsche pace car right now, as our drivers going to have to spend a good amount of time here getting some heat in the brakes and more importantly in the tires. I've heard some complaints from the MX-5 racers of late that early on in races and even up to mid-race, these cars are much more loose than they had been in seasons past. And it's something that, as we saw actually last week at Summit Point Racing, it should be very, our folks from up north should be very well suited to it. And when I say up north, I'm talking like New England, because it's more like ice than grass. As soon as you touch it, you're going for a very, very long ride, even more so than in real life at Virginia International Raceway. I kind of expected the drivers here on this very long back straightaway to maybe be scrubbing their tires in a little bit more. I suspect that some of the drivers at the front are probably dragging their brakes to try and get heat in the wheels and hence in the tires, as well as they come up to the roller coaster turn 14 and start to head down the hill behind the pace car. And already the field looking fairly well packed up, formed up. As they come down this section of the track, they almost by necessity start to stretch out a little bit. But when they come through the final corner, through Hog Pen turn 17, we'll see them get compressed once again. You'll be able to see there is Patry in the 198 machine, the red machine on the inside of row number 2, Yoshikawa. They're going to probably pull up right to the back of our front row, as we've got the pace car now on the pit lane, and Burkhart maintaining a fairly constant pace right now, around 45 miles an hour, as they wait for the green flag. And there it is, green flag is in the air and we are racing. And did you notice, Jack, how far to the inside that outside road Josh Soto squeezing down on Burkhardt and Patry before the start, as most of the racers now have stretched out, but they're trying to force Burkhardt and Patry to take very tight entries in. Was taking the toe back to the pits, and it looks like his race, this very short race, may be done already.
Yeah, as we talked about right there with the cold tires, it just looked like in turn 1 he just spun and got loose. I mean, this group of drivers seems to be very clean with each other. I was going to mention earlier in the other races that I don't think we had a single incident where there were 2 cars making contact. I think all of them were like single car incidents. So, I mean, these guys really are clean, and you know, that's how it should be. So, good on them. But as we just see, Forrester losing a couple positions right here. He was getting
Nichols, who started in 9th position. Again, he finished 2nd in the Toyotas in our first race. He now finds himself all the way up in 5th position. So he's already made up on this very first lap against some very tough competition. He's made up 4 positions. Our biggest mover in the top 10, Deacon Greenfield, who did not put in a time in qualifying, he started in 21st position. He's now all the way up into 12th.
Yeah, I think he was able to avoid that big incident right there in turn 1 and was able to pick off a bunch of spots. But the only problem with that is, and I don't know if we've seen him yet, but he could be by himself, which is tremendously harder to, you know, catch cars because the draft is so strong on these Mazdas. So we'll see if he's able to gain some more spots. But I mean, hell, I'd be happy with 9 already, right? I mean, it's only just 1 lap.
Yeah, exactly. And there is a decent sized gap there. He's got Michael Snow and Megan Overstreet a good distance ahead of him, about 3 seconds ahead. And that was a great little sequence that we saw there going into turn 1 with Megan Overstreet and Michael Snow a few moments ago. But Morgan Burkhardt, he is your leader. He has not been able to open up the huge gap that he opened up in the Jettas. He's got Josh Soto and Caleb Patry in very close proximity. And let's not forget Nagase Yoshikawa in the 98 machine, currently a 4-car breakaway as we see Murphy Nichols in that white number 5 machine. He's got a line of cars directly behind him. He's got Beans Forster. He's got Lewis Lockshine as well. And Andrew Wozencroft is part of that battle, as is John Wilson in the number 82 machine as well. So a 5-car battle there, all in a line for 5th position. If they all work together, and I would, even early on in this race, I think that they're probably going to work together, try to draft back up to our lead pack of 4.
Yeah, that seems to be the sensible thing to do, but as racers, you know, sometimes you don't do the most sensible thing. But I tell you one thing, I think Patry wishes he was back in that Toyota again, because now he has to race people, and I don't really know if that's as much fun as he was having earlier.
So something tells me that that Caleb Patry is probably having a lot more fun right now. And well, the front end of his MX-5 is Spec Miata. Apparently may not be enjoying the excitement or enjoying the battle as much right there. As you saw, there was a lot of front end damage, and I'm imagining that there was a lot of rear end damage to a car. Most likely it's the back of Burkhardt's from the start. But that's a great fight there, as Soto is pulled up right alongside Morgan Burkhardt. Let's take a look here at this fight with Michael Snow and Deacon Greenfield still side by side. This is the fight for 10th, as Megan Overstreet has managed to work her way clear of these 2 drivers, and Greenfield gets around Snow as they come out of turn 3. But let's jump to that lead pack, as we now have here, Jack, a new 2nd place driver, as Caleb Patry has made his way clear of Josh Soto in the 07 machine.
Yeah, he set him up on the front stretch. It looked like going into turn 1 and was able to make the pass, but we'll see if him and Burkhardt are able to, you know, put on a really good battle right here. It's a lot of similarities to that last race that we were watching with the last 3-car pack, but this one seems to be a 4-car pack, and most of the guys are the same one. So I think we'll see something similar. Oh, as we have contact.
And that's Murphy Nichols with Beans Forster. May have been that contact, as you said, coming out of Oak Tree, as Nichols did a great job of gathering that car back up off of the curbing and the dirt on the outside, and hasn't lost a lot of pace, as Lockshine's trying now to push Beans Forster past the number 5 machine as they come under braking in the 14, and Nichols still real loose under braking there. Forster now manages to get around Nichols. He is now your new 5th place runner. Nichols will slot in right behind him. Lewis Lockshine and Wozencroft are right behind there, but we saw both Wozencroft and Lockshine push Forster up into that 5th position as they came out of Oak Tree. And I would have thought that there might have been more of an effect there, but not so much so. Here's the interesting thing: as they come out of Hog Pen, you can't tell it from the paint here, but both Patry and Burkhardt, both on the same race team, and I can guarantee you they're sitting in Discord right now talking to one another in this race, and Josh Soto probably not a part of that conversation right now.
Yeah, and with that contact that we saw, just a little bit ago, I wonder if it was almost like a bump draft gone wrong, because these guys were desperately trying to catch this front pack, and we're about 1.8 seconds back, but now they're, and there's a spin.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
And lots of damage there as we saw Nichols and Forster get together. We saw, then we saw Lockshine get together with Forster, the driver, to scoot on by the driver that was at the end of that train, John Wilson, in the number 82 machine. So move Wilson now up into 5th position. Lockshine is there without the front bumper, the orange number 124 machine, and he's obviously going to have some challenges with aero. He is sitting in 6th. Megan Overstreet and Deacon Greenfield. Greenfield in the 36 has now made his way up to the back of the purple 044 machine, and I would suspect that as they come out of Oak Tree, they're going to be able to drive right past the 124 of Lockshine as we take a look now in that battle for the lead with Burkhardt, Patry, Soto. And are they going to make it 3 wide going into the roller coaster? They are, Jack.
Yeah, they just took it 3 wide, and Patry takes the lead and goes to the grass and is able to save it and stay in front of his teammate. Oh my goodness, this is
it looked like there might have been a little more contact there, and you can kind of see it in the right front of Burkhardt. There was a little love tap there as he hadn't gotten all of his braking done before Patry turned in there at 14. But Patry's going to lead the field through there. Burkhardt second, Soto part of that field, and Yoshikawa, as they came out of turn 5 earlier on in the last lap, had fallen back maybe 5 car lengths, but we can see there as the top 3 have been jockeying for position. The number 98 machine, he's right back in the thick of this battle. All right, let's do this, Jack. Let's take a look.
But, I mean, on the team that I'm on, I race my teammate the hardest too, so that's probably partially what that is. These guys just want to be the best on the team. It's an ego thing. It's an iRacing thing, You got to be the best, right?
It's a racer thing. It has nothing to do with iRacing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As we saw Patry there hang the rear end of the 198 machine out coming through 10 going into Oak Tree, and that allowed Burkhardt to get a great run out of the corner as he is once again side by side with his teammate. Yoshikawa, though, gets around the 07 of Soto. Soto dropping back into 4th position as he had a bobble going into Oak Tree as well, but I don't think it's going to matter much as they're all going to compress here at the top of the roller coaster once again.
Yeah, Yoshikawa took advantage of all of these cars getting super sideways in those corners in the back, and well, that's what happens is you take advantage of it and you get P3 for the moment, but I don't know why these guys are racing as hard as they are. They have an 11-second gap on 5th.
That's why they're racing so hard. They don't have to worry about bringing the rest of the field right back up to them. And I mean, even with this fighting, if you take a look at this, Jack, so with Burkhardt, Patry, Yoshikawa, and Soto side by side or nose to tail in every single corner, and here they are 2 by 2 going into turns 1 and 2 into the horseshoe. They are running in the low to mid 207s right now. The second pack, which is now being led by Deacon Greenfield, who's gotten around Murphy Nichols, they're in the Greenfield is in the 209s, but that whole second pack is running almost a half a second off of the lead pack's pace. So even with these drivers just jockeying for position seemingly every other corner, they're still pulling away from that second pack.
Oh, sure, but as we saw earlier in that other pack, man, just a little bit of contact and all 4 of you are wiped out. So yeah. I'm not really sure if this is the smartest way to be racing, but hey, if it works, right? I mean, these guys are definitely clean, so I don't see why it wouldn't work. But one little mistake, and it all goes up in flames.
Indeed it does, as we are now over halfway through this 20-minute sprint race. Actually, 8 minutes now remaining as we work lap number 6. And the drivers now coming out of out of Hogpen onto the front straight here. I take that back, as we're now watching Morgan Burkhardt. They were coming out of Oak Tree, as I said, on the back straight. And once again, Patry and Burkhardt side by side. Patry to driver's left, Burkhardt to driver's right. Burkhardt will have position if he can keep the nose up along with the 198 machine here under braking, as Josh Soto is back in third position as he outbrakes Yoshikawa at the top of the roller coaster. And wow, we are starting to see a lot of damage to these cars now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think it seems like Yoshikawa was kind of just letting these guys do their thing and hoping something happens. It seems like that's what he was doing in the last race as well. It didn't really work out there, but in this one, as we've already seen a few incidents, it could work out pretty easily. So it seems like that's what he's doing. That might be my guy to watch a little bit, because he might be the smartest one out of the bunch.
You know, and Murphy Nichols now, that is not the birthday present that he wanted. He goes for the long ride out of Hogpen and gets the car back underway, but he is going to lose a lot of time and, more importantly, a lot of momentum going down into turn 1, as Caleb Pocock and John Wilson both making up ground on the number 5 machine. But continue to watch this battle. Probably what surprises me the most is not even underneath the back of Deacon Greenfield's number 36 machine, and has been pulled along in the draft almost all the way around this track into the damage. Just hasn't really hurt him, but he's been wheeling the heck out of that car, as are these folks here. Here we go. Here's that fight with Greenfield, Lockshine, and Megan Overstreet. This is the battle for 15th position. And again, right now, your hard charger, Deacon Greenfield, has made up 16 positions so far.
Yeah, coming from the back to the front and just avoiding all the incidents as we have another lead change. Patry gets by his teammate Burkhardt in this. Oh, there's a little bit of contact. He kind of looked like he brake checked him just a little bit, but we'll see if he can get him back on the front stretch. This draft is so strong that anything's possible. Soto almost got past Patry in that last lap too, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, and Soto is he specializes in the MX-5s. I think again, he's just kind of sitting and waiting there, waiting for Burkhardt and Patry to take themselves out. And you saw there as Patry came across Burkhardt in the braking zone at the top of 14. It kind of looked like a year 1 in F1 of Max Verstappen cutting across the nose in the brake zone. And there was just millimeters apart, because you can see these two drivers are getting on the brakes at almost identical spots on the racetrack, and somehow it didn't end up in tears. They didn't both end up in the trees straight off at the top of 14 like drivers so many times do. But there they were, side by side, going through 3, going through NASCAR, finally straightening out through left hook, that 90-degree left-hander turn number 4, and they are back in line. Look at this. Look at this now, Jack, as Deacon Greenfield has conceded 5th position to Lewis Lockshine in that blunt force. I was going to say blunt force trauma, but that blunt-nosed 124 machine. We'll have to see what happens when he comes out of Oak Tree, if he can maintain that position there with all that aero damage.
Yeah, I wonder if he found the secret to being fast in the Monsters, because that is a lot of damage. He should not be going that fast, so good job for him, man. Especially to get the P5 too. That's, I mean, he's running really good laps. I mean, 2:11.1s. It's about normal, but not for a car like that. It's not.
No, certainly not for one with that amount of damage. All right, so once again, maybe Lee is playing a joke on us, and he keeps replaying this run out of Oak Tree down to 14 over and over again, and it's just the same lap. But now we know it's not, because it is 3 wide. Oh, and Patry is the meat in the sandwich, and I think there was a little bit of contact between he and Burkhardt, and Caleb Patry, he is now off, and he is out of this fight for the lead. Burkhardt now moves up into first with Josh Soto second, Nagase Yoshikawa running in third. Caleb Patry has managed to gather things up, but there was, luckily for him, almost a 20-second advantage between our first group and that second group, now led once again by Deacon Greenfield here. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened as they came 3 wide up towards turn 14.
Looks like Soto dove to the inside here and kind of just made Patry the sandwich, and he made contact with his teammate and went around. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a racing deal, I think. I don't really think anyone was at fault. I guess if you could blame anybody, you could blame Soto, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think I could.
Patry wasn't left with a lot of options there, and it was just the slightest of touches that changed the trajectory of the nose of that car. And Patry now sitting in 4th position, still running much faster pace than Deacon Greenfield and the folks up ahead, or probably back behind as we jump a little bit further back in the field as we're watching now Brad Gould in the 97 machine. He is running 14th, or probably 15th right now with Beans Forster in that 231 machine. Forster trying to make his recovery. And Gould just saw him this weekend at Summit Point Raceway getting his competition license. He was in a Spec Racer Ford. Definitely seemed to enjoy the experience as we jump back now. Again, this is the battle for 5th position with Greenfield, with Megan Overstreet and Lewis Lockshine. Yeah, it didn't take long. I didn't think Lockshine was going to be able to stay in the lead of that group on these long straightaways. Looks like Greenfield had an issue there. And I don't know if it was a brake lockup or maybe it's real hard to take the money shift on these sequential transmission cars, and I don't even know if you can any longer with them. But there was a big puff of white smoke off the back of the number 36. All right, sounds like according to the lead, sounds like he might have just dropped the wheel coming out of South Bend and gathered it back up, but we can see how it hurt his pace. But he's now trying to get the positions back, going into the top of the roller coaster.
Yeah, like you said earlier, that damage is on the straightaways hurt him, but in the corners it seems like he's able to keep up, and especially when he's behind someone on the straightaway, he can keep up just fine. But I don't think he can really lead the pack, as we see Joshua Soto into the lead once again, and Yoshikawa I don't think he wants to be in 3rd anymore. I think he's ready to challenge for the lead.
Well, we've only got 45 seconds, or actually 15 seconds on the clock. We are on the white flag lap, the last lap here at Virginia International Raceway. Last lap of the regular season here in the Ray Esports Racing League. And our new leader, just when he needed to get it done, it is Josh Soto in that black number 07 machine. Morgan Burkhardt, our pole sitter, sitting in 2nd, Yoshikawa 3rd, as we go back to this battle for 5th position with Greenfield and Lockshine. Look at Lockshine trying to come underneath the 36 car, going into left hook, and he's going to get pushed wide and 2 wide and into the dirt over at turn number 5. And Lockshine, it looks like he is now out of that battle.
Yes, we're coming down to the last few corners. We'll see if Soto can hold off Burkhardt and Yoshikawa on the front stretch. The draft is so strong. I don't know if he's really in the greatest position. Oh, man,
well, Yoshikawa came underneath Morgan Burkhardt just as they turned in for Oak Tree, and that really, I think, impacted Burkhardt's exit speed onto the front straight. He's now alongside Soto as they're about 3/4 of the way down. He might have been maybe even ahead of Soto if he hadn't had his exit compromise there. But as they go into turn 14, Soto dropping a wheel into the dirt, and that's going to allow Morgan Burkhardt by at the top of 14 as they come down the roller coaster for the very last time. Quick tap of the brakes, rotation from the car through hog pen, and Morgan Burkhardt is going to lead the field onto the front straight for the very last time and taking the win. Redemption for underfilling the car in the TDI Cup race earlier tonight. Morgan Burkhardt is your winner in Spec Miata. Josh Soto, he's going to finish in 2nd. Yoshikawa will come home in 3rd. Caleb Patry crosses the line all alone in 4th. And let's watch this battle.
Wow, we saw a couple good battles tonight. That was some good racing. That was awesome.
All right, let's do this. Let's go, and I was looking to see if Josh Soto appears, but in the meantime, let's do this. Let's bring in, gonna bring in Nagase Yoshikawa. He finishes 3rd tonight in Spec Miata.
Nagase, P3 tonight, and I think you had a P2 or P3 in the other race earlier. How do you feel about your results tonight?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, just racing for fun tonight. I'm not really doing the full championship, but yeah, I had some really great battles, and yeah, brought it home in a decent finishing position in both races. So yeah, had fun.
So was your strategy kind of to like let these guys do the racing and maybe take themselves out, and then you could take advantage of it, or what were your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a little bit of a plan, but it was kind of more just I don't think I had the outright pace of them. So if I got ahead, I was just gonna lose whoever was in front. So it was a little bit of just kind of hanging back and waiting for something. I was hoping in this last race I could make something work on the last lap, but couldn't get anywhere. So you know, not bad in the end. And yeah, just trying to hope something happened in front of me, but yeah, didn't end up happening really.
Well, you had Caleb spin out right in front of you, and you were able to avoid that and gain that position. But is there anybody that you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, obviously Team Watson Racing is my team, and Team Watson Racing setup. And then as always, All Sports Racing as well. Every week, the race stuff. It's really enjoyable. So yeah, and then as always, big thanks to all the other drivers and the series and the broadcast for putting on a great series. And yeah, enjoyed it.
All right, well, thank you for your time. Are we going to see you at the runoffs next week?
Maybe for at least one of the races. I have another league I think I'm doing, but I'm going to try and make as much as I can. So yeah.
Alrighty. Sounds good.
Yeah,
thank you.
Take care.
All right, everybody, that's Nagase Ishikawa finishing third tonight in Spec Miata. So let's do this. Let us bring in, it looks like we've got Josh Soto. He has joined and come into the green room. So let's talk to Josh Soto, driver of the number 07 Spec Miata, finishing second tonight here at VIR.
Josh, you almost had it. You almost had it, man. And then just, walk me through the last lap. I'm not going to say what happened.
Going through the last lap, I knew that Morgan's going to have the run going onto the back straight. I was just going to try to, the idea was just going to try to, try to get a big enough a gap so I can at least try to make it to where it's even going onto the roller coaster. But he ended up getting a huge draft going into the back straight. And going into the final corner, not into the final corner, into a roller coaster. I tried to brake as late as possible, but I almost ended up going off. But yeah, it was that was just the main thing. Just try to make a big enough gap so I could possibly run away with it.
Now, and take me through that 3-wide move that you made on the two teammates for the lead too. That was pretty epic, and it worked.
Oh yeah. It's really hard to try to pass two teammates. But I knew going into roller coaster and having that big draft from both of the cars was gonna have a pretty high chance of either making one pass or two. But it ended up working. I thought that I had accidentally made contact with Caleb, but I looked at the replay and it wasn't the case. I was just trying to keep it as clean as possible, and that move ended up working.
Yeah, you made the move and didn't make contact. Caleb made contact with his teammate because, he had nowhere to go. But one of them deals. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank?
I like to thank you guys, the broadcast, Greg and Jack and Apex Racing for sponsoring, and I thank my family and my friends.
Alrighty, are you going to be at the runoffs next week?
Yes, I'll try to be at the runoff. I was a little bit late coming into the. I believe there was like a Toyota GR86. Couldn't make that race, but thankfully I was able to make the MX5 race.
Yeah, and you put on a show for us. I appreciate your time, man, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, there you go. Josh Soto finishing second tonight in Spec Miatas. And then finally here, Jack, let's bring in our winner. Driving the number 40 Spec Miata, it's Morgan Burkhardt.
Now, before we talk about this victory, we're going to talk about the last race where he ran out of fuel, man. What happened there?
So I started with like 0.9 gallons of fuel, which because Jetta got me like 5 laps.
Yeah, I was gonna say a Jetta, that should get you like 3 days worth of racing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I got like half the way through the race before I ran out of gas. And then there's this sneaky little bugger called the white line on the entrance to the pit lane, and if you step over that, it gives you a solid 40-second stop and hold, which I figured out the hard way. So PSA, don't do that. We came out the pits and it was like 30 seconds away from anybody, so kind of just drove around for the rest of the race.
Oh man, well at least you got to redeem yourself in this race and get the W. You battled with your teammate and Josh. I mean, take me through, parts of that where you just were like, wow, this is insane.
It was lap 1 and 2 were kind of chilled out. We didn't really have a lot of fighting, and then Caleb got up to me and we went side by side, and then Josh got in on the action, and it was just awesome. 3 wide into the roller coaster, 2 wide pretty much everywhere else. There was 1 lap we went 2 wide from start finish to going under the bridge towards the climbing S's. So it was pretty good up until we went into the roller coaster 3 wide once, and it was never gonna work. But I came over on Caleb a little bit, assisted him off the track. We're lucky he didn't collect anybody else, and I kind of feel bad about that, and I want to apologize for that. But other than that, it was a really fun race.
Yeah, I mean, you guys made it fun. That was some crazy battling up there. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that. But congrats on the victory. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank?
Thank you. I'd like to thank you guys and Greg Ginsberg and Jack Race G for putting on a good show for us. My teammate Caleb and the rest of the Delta Sport team for helping us out every day. And my parents and grandparents, of course, for making all this possible. So yeah, oh, and how could I forget Stevie and Greg Hubler for actually setting up the league. It's a ton of fun to get and just go out and play every week.
Awesome, and we're going to see you at the runoffs next week too?
That is the plan, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we will see you next week. Congratulations on the victory, and I mean, could have had 2, but one's better than 0,
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, Morgan Burkhardt, our winner tonight in Spec Miata. And so, Jack, as we wrap up the regular season here, first, I'd like to ask everybody, if you liked what you saw tonight here, please go ahead and give us that big thumbs up. As my friend tells me, I have to say you need to smash the like button. And, of course, go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV on YouTube. And if you want to find out all about all the great motorsports action, virtual motorsports action that we have, you can find Apex on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Just search for one word, Apex Racing TV. And as we have been highlighting here, although this is the end of the regular season, we are not done yet. Next week is the runoffs. It's that one-off championship for the Ray Esports Racing League that we have at the end of every season. This season, it's going to be at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. It's going to be next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. That's an hour earlier, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to have 3 25-minute sprint races. We're going to have those Jettas and the Toyotas in one race. We're going to have the Spec Racer Fords. And if you like what you saw here tonight in the MX-5s and the Spec Miatas, you'll definitely love it when they go barreling down through the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. So as we wrap things up here, I want to again, Jack, welcome you aboard to the team. Great job here this evening. I look forward to many more Ray Esports Racing events with you. And of course, Lee Thompson, our director tonight. Thank you so much, Lee. And we'll see you next week from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Have a wonderful week, everybody.